One.
Greetings from the students of IMI. We are here to represent the case analysis of the Indian sugar industry. I shall be, along with Anjali, Lakshay, Jaya, Shweta, and Varun, are going to present the case. We are going to start with the key success factors for the sugar industry. The plant size is one of the most important factors for the sugar industry. The total sugar output of a mill is the function of its capacity and the number of days that the mill operates. If the larger is the size of the plant, larger is the benefit because of the economies of scale. The second success factor is the availability of sugarcane. The government has allotted areas for the sugar mills to access the sugarcane from the nearby areas. So if there is a good availability of the sugarcane in the nearby areas, the business will be better. There is also one more factor, duration of crushing season. The ability to draw higher percentage of sugarcane from the sugarcane available in the command area of a mill is known as cane draw. And it is important if higher the cane draw, lower the diversion of cane to other sources. The next key success factor is the proximity to higher yield sugarcane farms. If there are sugarcane farms that have a higher quality of sugarcane in their content, then it will be better for the farm to be processed in this market. Next is the proximity to deficient markets. Since sugar industry is not very wide in the India, so mills located closer to sugar deficit markets have a higher competitive advantage as their realizations are higher than those situated near surplus markets. Then the next is the maximization of sugar recovery. If the operations are efficient enough and the firm can recover a very good level of sugar content from the sugar cane, it will have higher maximization. The next are the value addition from byproducts. The one of the byproduct of the sugar industry is the ethanol, and others are molasses and bagasse. These help in generating higher revenue, and if firm can generate access these sources, it will be helpful for the profitability. The next is the relationship management. There needs to be a proper relationship between the farmers and the sugarcane companies if because it determines the success or failure of sugarcane companies. Now I would like my partner to carry on.
Talking about the SWOT analysis of the sugar industry, the biggest strength for the sugar industry is the profitable peripheral commerce around the industry, which include molasses, which is further refined and processed to form ethanol, which act as a byproduct which is used in the automobiles. Also, baggage, which is used to meet the strong demand of papers and used as biomass in power plant. Talking next, strength is the high level of employment. Indian sugar industry impacts the rural livelihood of about 50 million farmers, and around 1 million are directly employed in the sugar mills. Talking about the weaknesses, biggest weakness of the sugar industry is the low yield because of its geographical impacts like shorter growing seasons, moisture stress, pest and disease. India's yield is about 64.5 tons, which is less as compared to other major sugarcane producing countries. Next weakness, the sugarcane is a water intensive crops, and due to the lack of reduced and reduction in availability of water and nutrition depleted soil, sugarcane cultivation is facing risk of lower productivity. Next, the physiological inefficiency. The germination of sugarcane requires 40 to 45 days, which is more than the other countries' average. Next is because of the government initiatives that there is minimum radial distance of 15 kilometers between two sugar mills, which is creating a monopoly and and providing an undue power over farmers. The other biggest weakness of the sugar cane is it being a weight losing crop. It loses extractable mass upon transportation. Due to inefficient supply chain, the sugar cane dries and loses weight, leading to lower profit and higher cost of refined sugar. Talking about the opportunities, the technological advancements. By implementing state-of-art technologies, overall efficiency can be increased and overall cost can be reduced by lowering dependency on labor. Also, there can be more diversification in the portfolio for the sugar industry by making bioelectricity, sugarcane diesel, and cellulose ethanol. Next, improvement in the research and development pertaining to reduction in germination time, fertilizers, and improving the quality of seeds. Last opportunity is that the government subsidies can be introduced for newer technology and equipment.
Now moving on to the threat, competition from alternate sweeteners act as a cheaper source for food manufacturers. Hence, the global market for artificial sweeteners is growing faster and impacting the export of refined sugar. Government regulation, every sugar mill is legally compelled to give the central government a portion of its produce for lowering price. Lower global prices impacts the export of the refined sugar, and the threat of new entrants, ease of cultivation, and strong pricing as compared to other crops has led to the entrance of new players. Now we'll discuss about the key market trends. Rise in exports and imports of organic cane sugar in India. Organic cane sugar witnessed a rise in exports and imports in India. Despite the criticism of overall sugar consumption, organic sugar offers key attributes driving consumer demand. These attributes include availability, texture, cost, eco-friendliness, nutritional benefits, and rich sugarcane flavor over regular conventional cane sugar. So, as organic cane sugar retains all the nutrients found in its original state, it has an aroma of special molasses that attracts consumers. India's organic sugar exports rose 20% to an all-time high of 7.1 million tons in the year 2020 to 21 marketing year. So now India is the largest sugarcane producing country. India is one of the largest agriculture countries, which makes it an ideal market to expand due to the growing consumption of sugar in the country. With new regulatory policies and amendments in the older one, there is a greater chance for farmers and millers to increase their efforts towards cane sugar production and processing. India is the second largest producer of sugar in the world and is also the largest consumer. Employment is also generated in various ancillary activities relating to transport, trade servicing of machinery, and supply of agriculture inputs. There are 732 installed sugar factories in the country with the sufficient crushing capacity to produce around 339 lakh MT of sugar. The capacity of sugar mill is by and large in the range of 2500 TCD to 5000 TCD bracket, but increasingly expanding and going even beyond 10,000 TCD. So as we can see that India is the largest sugarcane producing country among the other Asia Pacific countries like China, Pakistan, Australia, etc.
Now, when we come to the competitive landscape of the sugar industry, the Indian cane sugar market is fragmented, owing to the presence of large regional and domestic players. The companies are emphasizing mergers, expansions, acquisitions, partnerships, along with new product developments as strategic approaches to boost their brand presence among consumers. The major players in the market studied are Global Organics Limited, Tate & Lye PLC, Wilmar Sugar Australia Limited, TCM Shriram, and Louis DeFries Company. As we see the graph, when we see the graph of the market concentration, it is segregated among the consolidated one and the fragmented one. India belongs in the fragmented one region, where we see it as highly competitive market without the dominant players. Now we come to the Porter's Five Forces. Porter's Five Forces framework is a method of analyzing the operating environment of a competition of a business. It draws from industrial organization economies to derive five forces that determine the competitive intensity and therefore the attractiveness of an industry in terms of its profitability. When we come for the sugar industry, its new entrants terms to be medium. Incentives given by the government being withdrawn and new sugar units are required to comply with levy quota regulations of first-year operations. When we come to bargaining power of buyers, it tends to be limited. Government influences the distribution, purchases power of the levy sugar, and free sale quota releases for sugar. The threats of substitutes seems to be low. Competitors are high, with around 500 units engaged in production of sugar. Industry is highly fragmented. Bargaining power of suppliers is definitely high in this case. Now, when we come to the pest analysis studies the key external factors, majorly political, economic, sociological, technological, legal, and environmental, that influences an organization. It can be used in a range of different scenarios and can guide people, professionals, and senior managers in strategic decision making. Firstly, the political factors. India's sugar industry is heavily influenced by politics. Farmers often transact through cooperative organizations, which are heavily influenced by the regional parties. FRP pricing was developed by the government to safeguard the interest of sugar producers. Farmers and the state governments are strongly opposing the law because they want to maintain the option of having a higher SAP without incurring any more cost. Economic factors. Despite significant yearly fluctuations, approximately 2.2 to 2.7% of India's total cultivated land is under cultivation for sugarcane. The sugar sector contributed 0.7% of India's GDP in the 2009 fiscal year. The value of sugar's contribution to agriculture output peaked at 6.4% in the financial year 2006, but owing to fluctuations in the industry's price and production, it fell to 4% in the financial year 2009. Then we come to social factors. The rural population relies on sugarcane, growing to tune of 7.5%. Around 2 million people are employed directly in the sugar sector, and several auxiliary services also significantly contribute to the indirect job production. Technological factors. India's Department of Food and Public Distribution is taking steps to upgrade sugar mill technology. Sugar factories in India experience decreased capacity utilization. Environmental factors. Compared to crude oil, ethanol emits less carbon dioxide. Ethanol use not only helps the environment, but also aids business in obtaining carbon credits. Legal factors. The business sector is subject to stringent legislative requirements. Although it occasionally has an impact on the sector and the producers, it mostly assures financial assistance and rules to maintain a balance between local demand and supply.
So the value chain analysis. A value chain describes the full range of a production process which is required for the product from conception through the different phases of production. Here the components are farming, which consists of harvesting and transportation. The inputs are fertilizers, manure, pesticides, water, and labor, which goes to the processing, which is weeding, planting, irrigation, and pesticide application, and further application of the fertilizers in the process. Then after the processing is done, which is the burning and cutting of the crop, the next step is transportation. And finally, after the transportation, the value chain analysis ends at the market and the after service process. The market opportunity is huge in the sugar industry. The Indian sugarcane industry is projected to reach at a compound annual growth rate of 5.2% during the forecast period of 2022 to 2027. So we can see that sugar is a very stable crop. The production and consumption, and as India is a leading production source of the sugar, the exports from India has also been very stable, and it's projected to grow in the future only. The other few factors are the sugar market is witnessing prominent growth due to the expansion of food processing in developing markets and developed markets. The Indian Sugar Mills Association, ISMA, estimates sugar production in 2022-23 at around 36.5 million tons of sugar. India's ethanol blending program, which also now requires biosugar, which is the way they are going, is going to be a very powerful tool to stabilize sugar prices and increase the farmers' income due to the growth in the sugar industry. Many companies, the sugar production companies, are implementing ISO certification, BSI, Bonscoro Production Standard, a global metric-based standard for improving the social and environmental and economic sustainability of the sugarcane farming and sugarcane derived products. Because with the growth of the production and export and consumption, sustainability is a goal that has to be achieved by all the businesses around the globe. So this is the way that the sugar industry is going.
So coming to the recent developments in this sugar industry, In November 2021, DCM Shriram Limited announced an investment over INR 350 crore to expand the capacity of sugar mills. The company approved 3 proposals for the sugar business to capitalize on the increasing sugarcane availability in its catchment area, enhance the capacity for production of refined sugar due to consumer preference, and build feedstock flexibility for its distilleries. In September 2021, Eat Perry India announced that it would set up a grain or sugar syrup or molasses-based distillery with a capacity of 120 kiloliters per day at its Sankili unit in Andhra Pradesh. They also launched a program, Ethanol Blended Petrol Program, which was given by government in order to increase sugar mills to divert excess sugarcane to ethanol. It has fixed target of 10% blending of fuel grade ethanol with petrol by 2022 and 20% blending by 2025. After achieving the target of selling 10% ethanol blended petrol, India in the next couple of days will start experimental supplies of 20% biofuel mixed petrol. To that, India achieved 10% ethanol blended petrol in June before the deadline, November 2022. India's target to achieve E20 blending was April 1, 2023, but the government has advanced it. Ethanol blending has helped in saving forex over 41,500 crore, which has benefited farmers and reduced GHG, that is greenhouse gas emissions, of 27 lakh tons. Now coming to concluding the analysis of the sugar industry, Asia will continue to consume the most sugar, while Africa is emerging as a new prospective market. In Asia, the 2 biggest consumers of sugar are China and India. Sugar industry goes through a cycle of 3 to 4 years due to government regulation. The central government set up a SMP, which is minimum price, and the SAP is set up by the state government, which causes market distortion, and as a result, there are difference in pricing, which has resulted in arrears with sugar mills to be paid by farmers. The private participation was encouraged by government by increasing the export, and the government had mandated sugarcane prices were eliminated. Now, as of now, Brazil is the cost leader in sugar production due to high mill and farm scale. The rapid modernization of its ports and investment in transport infrastructure has also been key drivers of this low cost. India's biofuel policy is incomprehensible and gives a broad outline to all the major areas that need attention. Given the vast differences in the economic performance and cross-sectoral implications of ethanol and biodiesel, the biofuel policy can serve better if the 2 sectors are dealt differently.
Thank you.